Perry Riley, we're going to rule him out already. He's got the foot, obviously. Did not participate. We're Hatcher, neck and ankle. John Johnson, hamstring. Paya, toe. Andre Roberts, knee. Chris Thompson, shoulder. Limited were Keenan Robinson with his shoulder. Deshaun Golston with the multiple injuries. And full were Carrier, Will Compton, Dunbar, Everett, and D. Hall.
I guess for Hatcher, if he can't go, it seems like maybe that's a position where you do have a few more options than when you've lost some of these other guys.
Yeah, we're going to wait a little bit on Hatch. We're still optimistic about him, but if not, then we have a couple guys on the practice squad we possibly could bring up. We could dress 5 defensive linemen and go from there.
Jay, in your experience as a coordinator and now as a head coach, when your running game hasn't been consistent and is kind of on a downward trend, what kind of things have you done to get things back on track?
Well, you can't totally abandon it if that's what you're asking. We have to stick with it. We have to continue to work at it. You know, I've said many times we have a young offensive line. They're still working together, but that excuse is going to wear out pretty quickly in these big games coming up. So we have to just continue to work on it, be persistent with it, be demanding of these guys. I know Coach Callahan's working with them, and Coach Phillips obviously with the tight ends, and Randy with the backs, and see where it leads us. But we've had some good runs, obviously, but for the most part, the average per carry has been not good enough the last 6 or 7 weeks.
Have you been satisfied with the pass rush you guys have been getting and the pressure you're putting on opposing quarterbacks?
Well, when you're talking about satisfaction, when you're 5 and 7, there's not a lot. You know, you're never really satisfied as a coach. You're always going to demand more. And our pass rush, you know, our run defense has been good as of late, but our pass rush, I think we can get better. You know, I think Hatcher's shown flashes of being a good pass rusher, had some good rushes. I think Ricky had some good rushes last week. You know, obviously Preston did some good things. But as a group, you know, we do have to get better. And in order to get better, I think we got to get more third down and medium to long so we can really tee off and rush. But overall, I'm pleased with the way our defense is playing, but there are areas of the game we need to improve, and pass rush is probably one of them.
How'd you think Derek Carrier looked, and are you optimistic of his possibility of playing on Sunday?
He did good today. He looked good today. He ran around pretty well, so I feel positive. You know, we still have one more good day of practice, but he felt good today, and we'll see how he does tomorrow morning with all the work and see if it swells up or not.
The takeaways have been coming for you guys on defense recently. Do you sense an improvement in a certain area? The guys were promising at the start of the year they were going to come eventually. Do you sense this is just kind of the rhythms of the season, or is there something in particular that you've sensed maybe an extra effort in recent weeks?
Well, I think once you pull a couple out of there, you start to get more confident, and it starts to be contagious for defensive players, and everybody wants a piece of one. So everybody's working hard to get the strips. So it's been a focal point of our defense since day one of OTAs, and it's something we continue to work on. So I feel good about it. We got to keep flying to the football, keep ripping it out when we have an opportunity, and when the ball's in the air, we got to make sure we do the best we can to go get it. That's what it's all about. Defensively, it's all about getting the ball back, and that's what we preach.
I'm sorry, Jerron in the safety position. If he can't go, do you feel a little thin back there, maybe with Kaishan playing a lot of nickel and really leaving just Deshaun and D Hall?
Yeah, Kaishan's back at safety pretty much a full-time role now. Luckily, like I said before, all those guys have taken a little piece of it. So we have 3 solid safeties going in, and really Everett, if he can play this week, he's been playing a little bit of safety too to maybe fill in as a 4. So we should have it covered, but we are a little thin with experience.
Jay, last season and this year, obviously this team has had its fair share of injuries, but it kind of seems like this year the guys that are being asked to step up, you're kind of getting more out of the players that are being asked to step up for the injured guys. Do you get that sense, and is that something to do with the coaching, culture change, anything like that?
Well, I think it has to do with a little bit of everything, coaching, and I think the player in general. They've gotten themselves ready to play. I think the big thing is when you're not active or you're not playing, you're on the practice squad, the ability to keep yourself ready, mentally ready and prepared, so when your number is called because of injury or performance, you're ready to go. And those guys have done a nice job of getting themselves mentally ready to play, and then when you're out there, taking advantage of the reps. And we've got a lot of guys that have done that. Will Compton's a great example. He's ready to roll. He's Blackman, obviously. Mason Foster last week, another great example. So we've got a lot of guys that have done that, and hopefully it'll continue because, tough game, and hopefully we don't lose anymore, but it could happen.
Coach, short week, tough loss, but as you've continually mention everything's still in front of you. Did you see the response that you wanted today from practice getting out there first time?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Despite the injuries, guys are beat up this time of year. And I know that's the way across the league. So it's for us as coaches to make sure we try to just keep grinding on them and keep trying to get the energy level up. And but I think the guys are in a good state of mind right now. Everybody's still a little disappointed and sick feeling over that Dallas game Monday night. A chance to, show people what we were made of, and we didn't do a very good job of that. But I think we're eager. It's a good thing about football, man. And this stage of the year, you don't play very well. You have a chance the next week to redeem yourself and get yourself back in the position you want to be.
Coach, regarding Chris Thompson, are you preparing as if you won't have him, or what's your level of optimism that he'll?
Yeah, that's a tough one. My level of optimism is not very high with him right now. Hopefully the pain and his range of motion gets better as the week progresses, and there's a chance he could play. But that's a concern.
And your option, if he doesn't, I'm trying to think of your depth after Alfred and
Randy
Max.
Jordan played halfback.
He did.
For a while. We have Christine Michael on the practice squad. We just signed Mac Brown to the practice squad, and we might have a couple more options possibly. But if not, we still have, we have Matt, and obviously Alfred and DY has actually done some third down stuff also.
Thanks.
Jay, there's a stat for pretty much everything these days, but there's a ESPN insider thing written saying that you and your staff were fourth in kind of game management type situations this year as far as a staff. How do you think you guys have progressed in that, year two going into your second year personally?
They said what?
You like game management type situations.
What'd they say?
You're fourth.
They liked me? Oh, jeez. So I'm gonna have to frame that article. That's the first article written positive. You know what? We work hard at it, but every game's different. There's certain things I wish I had back. There's certain situations at the end of the half, a couple times I'd like to have back, but for the most part, I feel we have great communication amongst the staff. I talked to Wes Phillips upstairs, and he's a very good game manager also, and I rely on him, and Bruce is still up there, and Brett Muncie up there, so I got a lot of people I talk to, Sean, and obviously Joe Barry, so working hard at it. That's all I can say.
Jay, have you guys changed your replay communication system, I guess, from last year, like how you did that in terms of who's communicating down from the booth?
No, I really like Wes Phillips is my main guy up there, and Brett Muncie on the defensive side of the ball. The two guys I talk to pretty much, and then Bruce Still's up there if there's a rules question that I might not know of. But so far it hasn't been an issue. The big issue is getting the replay. Sometimes on the road they don't even show the replay, and I can't see it very good on the sideline from where I am. And if they don't get the replay upstairs, they don't have a great view of it either. So that's the biggest issue. We have to wait for the replay. I'm holding the flag out, but luckily for us, there hasn't been too many circumstances where it's been an issue, but I think the couple against the Jets, they had a 3rd down and 1, and I might have been a little challenged. I couldn't tell the spot. We never got the replay, and a catch by Decker, I might have been a little challenged, but we never got the replay there either. So those are the tough ones, but overall I'm happy with the process.
Jay, if Hatcher is unable to play on Sunday, do you see an option to maybe play more of these nickel and dime stuff to maybe, if you have to take a D lineman out or switch the numbers around?
Well,
to
it
kind
depends
of
on what they're in. If they're in big people, then we're not going to play nickels. So no, we still have the big guys covered. We still have Terrence. He counts for 2. We have Baker. We have, so we're good. We'll be okay there. All right.